Patrick Mahomes throws for 300 yards last night. They have all these great statistical numbers except for on the scoreboard, where only they have 19 points. And it still does not seem, even though the Chiefs are 5-1, that they have hit their stride offensively. What's going on that side of the ball?
Yeah, Steve, it's funny. You know, I talked to Chris Jones on the field after the game, and it was funny. Our conversation started with so many years, Chris, right? Your defense has kind of had this slow start, and then Steve Spagnuolo gets them better as the season goes on. And what are they doing? They're playing their best football by the end of the season and into the postseason. It's almost flipped this year. Like, the offense is trying to find their footing in this first quarter of the season, and the defense has come out screaming hot. And we can talk about the defense, but talking to people pregame and being on that sideline because of our show, Steve, because of being on the Insider show that's also on the network, I believe Mike Garafolo and I arrived to the sideline sometime around 10:30 in the morning for this Thursday night game. So I had plenty of time to talk to people on the sideline, right? And so talking to people, it was essentially this. It's not like Patrick Mahomes trusts everybody out there outside of Travis Kelce. Actually, Justin Watson was a name that I kept being told is the other guy he trusted quite a bit. And then he has a dislocated elbow in this game. He's going to be out a few weeks, to my understanding, maybe more. We'll see how the scans go. But that's why we're seeing him run more. See, that's what I was told repeatedly is he's kind of looking at it going, I don't know if I want to pull the trigger. I can get these 8 yards. I can get these 10 yards, keep moving the football, because it's not entirely sure he trusts what Rashee Rice is doing or what Sky Moore is doing. And, you know, that's why you're seeing him running the football at a greater clip than he ever has in his career, because he's taking that in some of these instances as opposed to maybe taking a chance on some of these throws that you've seen him do, and he's protecting the football in a sense as he's learning with these guys. But the part that stands out to me the most is I'm told he's been brilliant with them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the meeting room, working on things, telling them how he wants certain things. 2 routes by Rashee Rice recently stood out to him as, okay, we're getting somewhere. And so this is a work in progress with it. But part of it, I'm told, is a trust factor that's not entirely there yet. And that's why we're seeing him run a little bit more.
Well, I mean, it's interesting when you think about, some of the greats, Tom Brady, when they changed receivers, not having necessarily a trust factor. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers, not necessarily having a trust factor. At some point, though, James, when you get to the end of the season, that trust factor has got to develop. So, again, it may be a work in progress, but they're still getting dubs. Yeah. But what is keeping them in games is this defense. So you mentioned this defense typically starts peaking at about week 12, 13. They've been doing it from the outset. What is working on that side of the ball that Steve Spagnuolo has helped drum up?
I think they're deep, Steve. I mean, I mentioned Chris Jones. He told me this is the most complete defense he's been a part of in Kansas City from, every position that you look at on the field. They have 2 really good corners in Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed.
They do.
They have 3 different safeties that they play. Brian Cook can play down and in the box, and Justin Reed can do a variety of things. Obviously, they're still looking for more from a couple of their young edge guys. That's why, I don't know, maybe a new available edge rusher.
Talk about it. Go ahead and drop that news in.
Been there before. I'm not sure if when Frank Clark arrives in Kansas City, Chris did yell it to me when he was running off the field. He's like, Chris will be here Monday. He doesn't have a say in the front office, but obviously he wants his running mate back there in Kansas City. So the part that stands out to me the most, and talking to front office people in Kansas City, is these little moves, Steve, right? We talk so much about big free agent acquisitions, that first wave of free agency when everybody's going, oh, this guy's signing for this. They went out and got Drew Tranquill, and they go out and get Mike Edwards. And these are 2 sleepy, quiet signings that have done wonders for this defense. When Nick Bolton missed a stretch, and there's a lot on this middle linebacker in Steve Spagnuolo's defense. You know that position has a lot on its plate. For Tranquill to just come in and just own it, play it, they're trying to find ways to put him on the field because he's been playing so well. That's the problem they have on defense. They have some guys they'd like to get on the field, and they can't get them enough snaps. They're deep. They can get after the quarterback, and they can cover.
Yeah, I mean, that's an absolute good problem to have, as the cliche goes, when you have so many talented players and to have them on defense where injuries are going to show up. But I like what you said about Drew Tranquill, because when he was with the Chargers, he was a tackling machine. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of surprised that they let him go, but they went out and got Kendrick, so he became, somebody who could be replaced. But adding him, this is such a great Brett Veach, Andy Reid move to kind of add a player to a position of strength. Because like you said, Nick Bolton, he's one of the best inside linebackers in the NFL, but to add a Tranquill to play alongside him or to replace him, just a deft move right there.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.